can we back up even more? Because there was something in your TED Talk that I thought was so important, and I bet it came, or your realization of it. And you mentioned your deep dive into the subject of the divine feminine and feminine energy. So can you bring us back to early Neeta and your relationship with your dad and how that all played out in your new search for well-being and balance?
Thank you for asking that's a big question.
Yes, I know.
An important one. I love it. So growing up in India, my father, when there were guests who came home, at the time he would say, and I'm going to like imitate him a little bit, he'd say, I have two sons. And, he would point at my brother and me. And strangely, I felt flattered. I
Yeah.
liked it. I was like,
Mm.
I was as good as a boy. It was a compliment. I grew
Wow.
up believing that that was something to be proud of.
Wow.
Um, he also called me Dayo Damak, which my family speaks as dialect called Malvi. So it's
Hmm.
spoken by just a few in India. And in that language, he called me Dayo Damak, which means a good, obedient child, a good girl. And so growing up, I felt like I had to be as fast as a boy, as strong as a boy, but I also had to be this good girl. And so it
Yeah.
was kind of confusing. Like, do I like stay quiet, color within
Hmm.
the lines, or should I challenge everything? It felt like I had to be both. And
Yeah.
I feel like as I grew up and as women now, I feel like we're always in this pressure cooker. You got to
Yeah.
be doing this, you got to be doing that
Hmm.
at the same time while being a good girl, whatever that means.
This
Yeah.
reminds me of the Barbie monologue
The
by
monologue.
America
Oh,
Ferrera. So good.
so good. Oh my goodness. When I saw that, I had like goosebumps that wouldn't go away.
Yep.
Well, fun fact, the Barbie movie inspired what I wrote on the TEDx stage. I chose the Barbie. It's the year of Barbie 2023. That was like not too many people know that, but now here it is on the podcast. But
Love
that
that.
was the reason, like the Barbie pink. Um,
Yes. Yes. I loved it. I loved it. So good.
And so and then I got into engineering because I felt
Hmm.
like that's where, we need more female engineers. So I got into engineering. My father was a celebrated engineer. And
Hmm.
I felt this call to sort of kind of like prove myself that I'm
Yeah.
as good. So there
Hmm.
was always that I don't know if it's a competitive streak. Perhaps it is. But that was kind of like my conditioning growing up in a really patriarchal society like
Yeah.
India.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure everyone out there listening is doing what I'm doing and going back to my childhood. And in fact,
Mm,
I write a little bit about it even in my introduction in the book. It's confusing, just like you said. If you grew up like me, even here, which is, you know, not maybe as patriarchal as how you grew up, but still,
yes.
it's invasive. So I had parents that would say, you can do whatever you want when you grow up. You can become a lawyer, you can become a doctor, you could do this. And at the end of us eating dinner, my brother got to sit there while me and my sister had to clean off the table. And there were just like different things like that really irked me and were obviously noticeable. And I think if not careful, we carry that with us throughout our lives, and we carry it in this way. It's like an unconscious message that as a woman, your needs, wants, and desires are not as important as a man's. And
Yes.
that's how I have interpreted it in my life and how I see it in many others. If out there, again, if that doesn't resonate with you, great. But if it does, maybe this is your chance or time or opportunity to just take a look at it and say, is that really true? And am I playing that out in my roles, in my relationships? Am I allowing other people's needs, wants, and desires to be more important than my own? And I think women do that all the time, even with their children, not just their partners, but their children, their partners, their relationships with their bosses and colleagues. I mean, it's really invasive. So bounce back to you, you then start realizing this. Yeah. And start
Yeah.
doing a deeper dive into that masculine feminine energy. So can you share more about that and teach us a little bit?
Yeah, and thank you for that example from your childhood. It's interesting that you share that because as an immigrant, I always looked at America as being not patriarchal at all. And when I arrived here, it was there, but it was differently presented, but it's very much there.
Yes.
And when I was in corporations and when I was studying as in the computer science program, I kept feeling this need to be more like a boy, like
Mm.
to fit into the bro grammar culture. And I talk
Oh
about
my
it,
God, is that a word? Bro grammar?
bro grammar, yes, like wearing the hoodie, like being really good at video games. Now, I was a software
By the
engineer, but
way, sorry. I know most people are just listening, but today for this, you just said dress like a hoodie, dress like a boy. Sometimes I do, but
I
today I
do.
put on my very feminine floral shirt just for this podcast. So
So sweet.
just want to point that out. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for doing that, dressing up. But yeah, so I encountered that along the journey, right? Like whether it was India or America, whether it was being in a classroom in engineering or being in a tech corporation, I've
Mm,
always found something coming up. And so I went to IIN, and because I was burnt out, I was disconnected with my body,
right.
and I wanted answers. I wanted to be healthy,
Mm,
the buzzword healthy. And I say that I drank enough green juice, did a lot of Pilates, and I still felt like crap. And
yeah.
so I say that, I went to IA and I felt like, they talk about primary foods and secondary foods, and
Mhm.
that was very insightful. But what I learned is that I was I was doing really well in nutrition and I was very good at fitness, but I just wouldn't sleep and rest. I was on this
Mm,
go, 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 go. Just wouldn't stop.
right.
And this is a common limiting belief that, the hours you work and how busy you are define your worth.
Yeah.
And, you work to your bone. And
Mm,
I felt like I just wouldn't stop.
yeah.
And along the way, as I was going down different rabbit holes, I found the answers
Mm,
in the ancient Eastern philosophies. So yin and yang from China
mhm,
and Shiva and Shakti in India. And they all refer to these two specific energies that exist in each one of us and also in our communities, in the society, and how the planet is even built.
mm.
And
Wow.
that's masculine and feminine. And in
Mhm,
a very simplistic term, so masculine would be Shiva in the Indian philosophy, and it would be Yang in the Chinese philosophy. And
mhm,
feminine would be Shakti and Yin in the Chinese philosophy.
mhm.
And what it means is feminine means the state of being, and
Mm.
masculine is a state of doing. So
Doing. Oh,
you're
wow.
always doing, and you're analytical, you're rational, you're logical, you're results oriented. You're really in the mind.
Mm,
And feminine refers to the state of being, the state of surrender. It's interesting. I read this somewhere that even cities, so like if you're like, I live in the suburbs now in New Jersey, there
yeah.
are lots of trees and animals. And so they say this is the yin part.
Mm.
But when you go into the city, you go into Manhattan, that's like, everybody's racing.
Doing,
That's the
doing,
masculine,
doing.
doing.
Yeah.
And what I found that the answer was really in finding the unique balance between these two energies.
Yeah.
And this balance is different for each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So in my past, I was so much in my masculine, I
Mm-hmm.
just wouldn't rest. I wouldn't surrender. I wouldn't trust.
Mm.
That's the wounded feminine, where it's hard to trust, it's hard to let go, you're kind of controlling.
Mm.
Um, and this has nothing to do with the gender. So we can be
Yeah.
anywhere on the gender spectrum.
Right.
And we have both the energies, and we need to reclaim, depending on what's the right mix for us, we need to
Mm-hmm.
reclaim like feminine and masculine. So as a woman, we are expected to only be feminine. And I tried that. I went to the other end of the spectrum. I said, no more masculine, only feminine.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna focus on like being intuitive, just
Mm-hmm.
wait for but I wouldn't do much. So you
Yeah.
need to be both, right? Like it's like we need to be building those big, vision boards and introspecting and going within, but we also need to come out and take action. And it's that balance.
Oh my God, I love that. And I just taught my digital vision board workshop. I do it once a year. And that's exactly the thing, right? I say there's 3 steps to manifestation, manifesting anything really, but your dream life is one, being really clear. So, being calm, giving yourself that time to think, feel, see, hear what your goals and dreams and desires are, because most of us don't even know what that is. Step 2 is create a visual representation of that. So we can use a vision board or something like that. But step 3 is probably the most important, and that is getting into action, right? Even if it's baby steps in the direction of your dreams. So I love that
Love
you
it. Love that so much,
you
Jen.
figured that out with that other philosophy, right? I mean, there's like, God, there's so much wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Can I share a fun fact? I don't know if I shared
Yeah.
this with you. Maybe I did.
Yes.
So my 2023 vision board
Mm.
had a picture of you doing TEDx. You were on my vision board. So I do it on paper and pen. And I didn't. I thought I shared on Instagram, but I put it. And it's interesting because when my TEDx went live,
Uh-huh.
it was Facebook that reminded me, because my Facebook and Instagram is linked, that,
Yeah.
oh, same time last year you shared Jen's, because yours went live then. So I had
Yeah.
reshared it to my audience at the time.
Oh,
And funnily, mine was out. And that's when I was like, wait a
wow.
second. That was on my vision. You were on my vision board.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
That's a fun fact. It's
Thank
true.
you.
I'll maybe
Wow, I'm
share
honored.
I will share the picture of the vision board. I keep all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that.